Give me an example of what you mean about great direction. I mean, give me an exact example of when you look at the guy and think, whoa, you can cook. I mean, what is it?
He had the balls and the intelligence to say to me, I want you to do this movie. And he pointed his hand right at me. We only met 5 minutes. Hi, Mickey Rourke, Darren Aronofsky. And he says, well, you've spent the last 15 years ruining your career. I can't get you going. I can't get you a parking ticket. And I said, yes, I've heard this before. You could have been the next this, that, the other. And I'm going, oh, God, I'm hearing this again. And then he says, I want you to do this movie. And if you do it, you're going to listen to everything I say. You hear me? Mm-hmm. You're going to do everything I tell you. And you could never disrespect me in front of the crew. Right. And I can't pay you. And I went, oh, great, I can't wait to go to work for you. And I respect, because everything I asked about Darren, it was the same kind of feedback that I got years ago when I worked with Francis Coppola on Rumblefish. Large brain, doesn't compromise. They've been trying to get him to do big Hollywood movies, blockbuster kind of movies for years, and he stays in his little kind of domain in Brooklyn.
He also insisted, didn't he, that you did all the fight scenes?
Yeah, and I didn't go for that either, because fighting in real life that's okay.
Yeah.
But fighting in the movies sucks. It's boring. It's laborious. It's like, let the stunt guy do it. You're throwing punches like this and missing, and it's like, I'll do the acting, you do the stunts, and it's really nothing I really enjoy doing, and I don't really have to do it, and when I thought, oh God, this is going to be hard now, because I don't know nothing about wrestling. I have a boxing background, and with a boxing, you're taught for years to hide everything, and this is you're going like this,
Right.
And that felt so weird to me. And then because of the boxing, actually, it was harder for me to move and look like, because of the years of moving differently. And so he would scream at me, you're looking like a fighter. And I would say, here's a guy yelling at me. The only exercise he ever had was lifting his fork to his mouth. And
you had to bulk up as well, didn't you?
And I had to put, these guys are huge. So I had to put like about 28 pounds of muscle on, which was, I had about 8 months to do that in. And was very fortunate. I had this, in Miami, I went back home to train, and I found this Israeli ex-commando martial art cage fighter.
Cage fighter,
Daniel Drucker, and he was very strict, that military thing. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to tell a guy, oh, I'll train tomorrow, or, I come in a couple times in the beginning, and I was a little haggard. I was out chasing this, that, and the other, or whatever, or trying to. And that's where you spend your time, is trying to. And he said, like, the F word to me. And I said, what? And he said, right. He says, and we had a picture of one of the wrestlers, Lex Luger, who got a great physique, looked really, he says, do you want to look like that, or you do want to look like you look like right now? I said, I want to look like that. And he goes, which meant get on the cardio. And I, after a long night out, and it was like, he was very, he says, because the day that you see the movie, he says, you're not going to be able to change how you look. And we're running out of time.
What was the move that you were talking about?
Whoa.
Yeah, the move was hard. What had happened is we had choreographed pretty much my wrestling trainer, and I hated the wrestling. Coming from the boxing, it was like, I didn't want to do that. It's not, real. It was real. I had 3 MRIs in 2 months. My neck, my knee, my L5, I thought I had a renewed respect for the sport.
So what happens now?
Yeah.
After this spectacular triumph of a movie, what's next on your list?
Yes. I'm glad you asked that question, because I was terrified going, what am I going to do now? Listen, I'm the one who 14 years ago was climbing the mountain and jumped off head first. So I'm thinking, oh, what if the next guy I work with, it's, because with me it's all been about being accountable and, trying to hold my together if somebody's not a certain way. So
that's the therapy.
That worked, because before I didn't care. There were no rules, and I wasn't accountable, and it was on. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
You'd lose it.
Yeah. And I paid the price for that. And only what does Marcus Aurelius say? Only a fool trips over the same rock twice. I mean, it's like, life's too short to go back into the darkness, and I was there for a long time, and it's when you get out of hell, it's nice to have a cold glass of water. So I could think of the times of going in the middle of the night to a 7-Eleven to buy some smokes, and there'd be 6 people there, and some fool out loud goes, "Hey, didn't you used to be in the, what's your," and calling you every wrong name, you know, and then you go, get this out of here and get a pack of cigarettes. I don't want to hear who
it used to be.
And, yeah, because, well, in L.A., as my doctor says, you're living in a town based on envy. And so, you know...
Are you still in therapy? Do you still go?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you think that's a
well, you
endless
know,
thing?
It's interesting because when I got done with the movie, I thought, oh, my God, I'm so fortunate and blessed that I've found a few good men in my life, a priest and a shrink who helped me. And when I wrote, I wanted Bruce Springsteen to write a song because I've known him for years, but I didn't even talk to him for 13 or 14 years during my lost period. So I wrote him a long letter about how I've been fortunate enough to change, but Randy's never going to be able to. He doesn't have accessibility to that kind of information. And I wrote him a really letter from my heart that was very honest, and I told him we had no money to pay him for, you know. He called me back a couple of months later, we talked, and a few months later, and he called. I was in Miami one night, in the middle of the night, I'll never forget it, driving down Collins Avenue, right near the Fontainebleau, and my phone went off. He goes, "Hey, Mickey." I said, "Who's this?" "Bruce." I said, "Bruce who?" "Oh, hey, man." And he said, "I wrote you a little something." And then, you know, as I said to the guy next to me, Bruce wrote us a little something. Bruce doesn't write nothing little, you know. And then we wrote the song, and it just, he wrote it without, he read the script, but he didn't see the movie, and it's the core of the piece.
And the song's won awards, isn't it?
It won the Golden Globe Award, and then it just, you know, and it works so well on the trailer.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it sounds to me, Mickey, as if not only have you got yourself back, but you're surrounded by some good men. You know, you've got some good guys.
I met a few good men.
Yeah.
You know, and like Bruce, you know, just being able to have a relationship with Bruce again has been a blessing. You know, I mean, he's one of the good guys. You know, and
well,
you know,
I can't tell you how thrilled I am for you.
Oh, you can sit here and tell me all the time.
We are thrilled.
No, but actually,
now,
meeting you is a real privilege.
Really
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Congratulations
Thank
again.
you. Yeah,
Okay.
indeed.
He was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, I really loved him, and I was really surprised, because to be honest, when we knew we were going to interview him, I was a wee bit scared.
I know you were.
It's not because of, you know, the nature of the
Do you think he was
film.
going to wrestle you to the ground?
No, it's just I thought he'd be really tough.
Yeah. He's a pussycat.
And a tiny bit aggressive, but he's not at all.
Very small entourage as well in the dressing room,
Yeah.
just a couple of close friends.
And he's really charming.
Yeah, nice guy.
Really nice.
Guy.